Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings for Thursday, May the 2nd. I'm going to do the early slate. That's all I'm going to cover for today. There's 5 games from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and then there are 2 games at night. I expect DraftKings to be putting a lot of their heavy prize pools on this 5-game early slate, and I expect that to be like the quote-unquote main slate for today. So this is going to be my MLB video for today covering this slate. And then after this video goes up, I will do an NBA video for the showdown slate for the Thursday night game between the Raptors and the Sixers. But we're going to take a look at this 5-game early slate, talk about pitching, look at the pitchers for today, talk about where I want to go, the guys that I want to roster. Then we'll look at some stacks we can consider. We'll talk about BVP plays as well for the few BVP plays we have on this 5-gamer. Just before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. But starting off at the top of the pitcher player pool, we have Jose Barrios at 9,900. He's in a really tough spot today. He's at home against the Astros. Really tough matchup for Barrios. Astros with a 4.3 implied run total, which is relatively high for what we see with teams face Barrios. Usually Barrios, opposing teams against him only have like a 3.2, 3.3 implied run total. Tough spot for Barrios, and I don't think I want to play him here versus this really good Astros lineup. Noah Syndergaard you have for 9,400 as the next cheapest option. I think Syndergaard's a better play than Barrios, even though I don't think Syndergaard's a better pitcher. I think Barrios is a better pitcher. Syndergaard has a much better matchup at home against the Reds. The Reds only have a 3.1 implied run total, and obviously this Reds lineup is much worse than this Astros lineup, so Syndergaard at home against the Reds I think is a pretty good play. But my favorite guy to pay up for is Charlie Morton. I really like him at 9K here against the Royals. We go down and look at this Royals projected lineup for Thursday. It's not a good lineup, a lot of strikeouts in it as well. Morton's been very good this year with the Rays, been very consistent, hasn't had huge games. His best game of the year was 23.7 DK points to begin the year against Houston. Then his last start against Boston, he had 23.3 DK points. Hasn't been getting that many strikeouts this year. His highest his highest K game was against Boston, where he got 9 strikeouts. But he's been very consistent, been pitching relatively deep into games, been throwing about 95, 100 pitches a game. Been going about 5-6 innings every game. Really been able to limit the damage this year. Even in some of the games where he's given up a couple runs, he's been able to get at least enough strikeouts to provide a decent score at his price tag. So at 9K, I think we could easily see Charlie Morton be the highest scoring pitcher on this slate. He's the 3rd most expensive pitcher, so he's $900 cheaper than Barrios, $400 cheaper than Syndergaard, only $400 more than Peralta. I think Charlie Morton at 9K here against the Royals is definitely the pitcher that I want to pay up for. And then for SP2, I really like going to Mike Foltynewicz. I like this spot for him a lot at home against the Padres. This Padres team is expected to roll out 7 righties in their lineup tomorrow. They're actually going to roll out 8 righties if this is the lineup they do play. Their projected lineup has 8 righties in it. And Foltynewicz is very good versus righties, gets a lot of strikeouts versus right-handed batters. Only lefty that's in the lineup is Eric Hosmer, and he's just not that good of a hitter at this point in his career. Foltynewicz much worse versus lefties, but like I said, only 1 lefty in this lineup. Pretty low total as well for the Padres, just 4.1 implied run total. Really like Foltynewicz as an SP2 that you can pair with Charlie Morton. He's only 7,800. You play Morton and Folty together, that still leaves you 4,150 remaining per player. Foltynewicz, this will be his 2nd start since coming off the injured list. He made 1 start against Colorado on April 27th, went 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 homers, 5 Ks, 11 DK points. I would expect a much better performance from Folty, and I would expect him to pitch deeper into this game as well. Only threw 78 pitches in his last start. I think we see him go about 90 pitches today. So I really like him at 7,800. I like that the Padres are rolling out a lot of righties. I think Foltynewicz can have a lot of success since the Padres are going to be putting a lot of right-handed bats against him. Folty gets a lot of Ks versus righties. But other pitchers we could consider, if you do want to pay up for bats today, there's not a lot of expensive stacks I really like. There's actually a lot of pretty good pitchers going on this 5-game slate, so I don't think there's any clear spots to stack. I think the Rays are probably in the best spot, and their hitters are not really even that expensive. But if you do want to try and fit in like the Brandon Lowe, Tommy Pham, Diaz, who are 47, 48, 4900. If you want to fit those guys in, you're probably going to need a cheap SP2. I think Tyler Mahle at 5,900 is a guy that you could look to on the road against the Mets. Mahle's not that good of a pitcher, but he's facing the Mets. He's in a good pitcher's park. He's only 5,900, the cheapest available pitcher. I do like him quite a bit, but I expected a lot of my pitcher ownership to go to Morton and Fulte today. I'll throw in some Syndergaard. I'll throw in some Mahle, maybe a little bit of John Gray at 8K, maybe a small amount of Brad Peacock, but Fulte and Morton are the two guys that I like the most on this early slate. But I did mention the Rays as a team to look to. They do have the highest implied run total on this slate right now. Their implied run total is at 4.8 runs. Seeing Jorge Lopez at the projected starter on Fantasy Labs for the Royals. Right now, DraftKings has it as Danny Duffy. Even if it's Duffy, I still think the Rays are in a really good spot here. If it's Jorge Lopez, I think you definitely want to play some of these lefties. If Duffy pitches, then I think the lefties are not as appealing. But assuming Lopez is pitching, I really like some of the lefties. I like G-Man Choi at only 4,100 here. I think a really good spot for Choi. He's very cheap as well. When you look at some of the other hitters in this Rays lineup, like Lowe and Pham and Diaz, 47, 49, 4,800. If you want to stack the Rays, which is something a lot of people are going to be doing, you can still do it with expensive pitching. You can play guys like Choi at 4,100, Lowe at 3,800, Garcia at 4K. Rays do have some value in their lineup. They're facing a bad pitcher. Whether it's Lopez or Duffy, I think both guys you can stack against. Really like Choi here. Has a lot of upside. The dude does have some power. Even though he hasn't shown it much this year, only one home run, still gives you a lot of upside, batting towards the top of the order, and relatively cheap. So I like going to him at first base. Then at second base, I think Ozzie Albies, really good option here at 4,900 against Matt Strahm. The Braves are another team that I'm going to be looking to load up on. They have the second highest implied run total right now at 4.5 runs versus Matt Strahm. Strahm's not a gas can. He's not a bad pitcher by any means, but he's a guy that can be beat, especially with a good Braves lineup like this that has Albies, who hits left-handed pitching very well. Josh Donaldson, pretty good versus lefties. Freddie Freeman, even though he's a left-handed hitter, he's still very good versus lefties. Acuna at 4,400 might be my favorite play on the slate. He's batting fourth. Markakis, Camargo. There's just a lot of tough outs here for Strahm. I think we could definitely see him struggle. So I really like Ozzie Albies. Leading off, the guy's been great this year. He's been great versus lefties. Been great from both sides of the plate, really. Shown a lot of power as well this year. Already has 6 home runs on the year. So if you can pay up at second base, I think either Brandon Lowe or Ozzie Albies are two guys you really want to look to. And then finishing off the plays, going to the outfield, I mentioned Ronald Acuna, 4,400 on DraftKings, just really stands out as one of the top overall plays on the slate. Versus a left-handed pitching, Ronald Acuna should not be this cheap. Even though Strahm's a pretty decent lefty, Acuna's just a better hitter. He can have more success here. He can outperform Strahm. And I don't think Strahm's going to get absolutely blown up, but I could see him giving up a couple home runs, probably one to Albies, maybe one to Acuna as well. Acuna's just the guy that really stands out. He's just so cheap. When you factor, this guy should be 5K plus pretty much every slate. I don't really care how poor he's hitting or if he's in a slump. Just too good of a hitter to avoid, especially when you look at his price tag of just 4,400. So these are 5 guys I'm looking to today for this 5-game slate. Early slate today, no night slate. Well, there's a 2-game night slate, but I probably will not be playing that and won't have a video on that. So this is where my focus is going to be on for the day. These are my 5 plays. Let's go ahead and talk about some stacks and BVP before we end the video. So I mentioned the 2 stacks that I really like. I think the Rays are in a very good spot versus Jorge Lopez or Danny Duffy, whichever guy it is. I think Rays bats are where you can look. I think Braves bats versus Matt Strahm, 4.5 implied run total. Definitely want to look to some Braves bats. And then maybe if you want to play some Rockies or some Brewers versus Gray or Peralta, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys ran into a little bit of trouble, but low total in that game. Don't know if I'd get too excited. The Rays, the Braves, those are the teams two teams I'm really going to be loading up on this early slate. Might throw some Twins bats in there versus Brad Peacock. I think that's it for stacks. Let's go ahead and talk about BVP before we end the video real quick. So only 3 BVP plays on this early slate. Christian Yelich gone 7 for 19 with a home run off John Gray. Travis Shaw gone 3 for 11 with 2 home runs off John Gray. And Martin Maldonado 6 for 11 off of Charlie Morton. So those are all the BVP plays for this 5-game early slate. I think that is it for the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. I really do appreciate you watching. Make sure you drop a like if you did enjoy. And if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well down below, so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. Like always, if you've got questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you checking out the video, and we will see you in the next one. Good luck today. Peace.